Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be looking at the latest forecast for the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season. We've had some new forecasts come out from Colorado State University and University of Arizona. So we'll be looking at that, as long as what looks to be just another very active hurricane season in the Atlantic, with the potential for La Nina to come back in full force heading into the hurricane season, especially for the peak of the hurricane season in August and September and through the end of the hurricane season. So we will dive right in. So as you can see, back on April 4th, Colorado State University put out its first official 2024 Atlantic hurricane season forecast, calling for a total of 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. Now, if we do get 23 named storms, that would take us 2 named storms over the original naming list, which is right down here. So we would exhaust all of these names and go 2 names into the newly created auxiliary list that the World Meteorological Organization and National Hurricane Center have created following the 2020 hurricane season, where they retired. Sorry about that. They retired the Greek letter naming system. So that is what the Colorado State University is forecasting, along with saying that right down here, they're calling for a total ACE index, or accumulated cyclone energy index, of 210 units, which is would mean a very, very active hurricane season, with particularly the hurricanes and major hurricanes being likely quite strong and long-lived, which would create this much larger number. Now, Tropical Storm Risk put out their first initial hurricane season forecast for 2024 back in the middle of December, back in 2023, calling for 20 named storms, 9 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. Now, just yesterday on April 8th, they released their updated forecast, calling for the exact same amount of named storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes as Colorado State University, with 23 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. And they predict that as well, that the moderate La Nina conditions would occur in the summer and persist into the fall, and above average sea surface temperatures would also persist into the summer, which would all come together to help create possibly a very active, if not hyperactive, type of Atlantic hurricane season. Now, also on the same day, yesterday on April 8th, the University of Arizona released their first official 2024 Atlantic hurricane season forecast, calling for just 21 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes. So you can see, up to this point in the first few most recent Atlantic hurricane season forecasts for this year that have come out, they're all basically saying the same exact things in terms of nearly the exact same number of named storms, the exact same number, however, in hurricanes and major hurricanes. So we are looking like it will be a very, very active hurricane season, where it does seem to have a real possibility of exhausting the regular naming list and going into the auxiliary naming list. Now, the University of Arizona, on top of calling for 21 named storms, 11 hurricanes, and 5 major hurricanes, also have indicated they have an ACE index of 156 units. So it's definitely a good bit less than what Colorado State University is thinking for their total ACE index for this year's hurricane season, but that still indicates a pretty active hurricane season, with still at least some hurricanes, and specifically major hurricanes, possibly being strong and somewhat long-lasting. Now, let's look at what the latest ENSO outlook is from the CPC, and you can see, as of right now, we're technically still in El Nino, which for hurricane season statistics and activity would typically lessen the total amount of activity that would occur during an Atlantic hurricane season because of an increase of shear and dry air. But as you can see, as we're now in April, it looks like we'll be quickly now turning to a neutral stage, which will help to which would start to help the creation of more Atlantic tropical cyclones. But then as we really get into the beginning of the Atlantic hurricane season, which starts on June 1st, you can see this blue is indicating La Nina, as shown in the corresponding graph up here. That shows that La Nina will likely start around June, July, August, and continue and get stronger, most likely, throughout the rest of the hurricane season and through the end of this year. So that would mean that more likely than not, we will have the entire Atlantic hurricane season dominated by a La Nina and a strengthening La Nina, whether it becomes a moderate or even strong La Nina potentially as we get towards the peak of the hurricane season, that August, September, October timeframe, and then beyond into the end of the Atlantic hurricane season towards the end of November, where the hurricane season officially ends on November 30th. Now let's look at the current temperatures in specifically the Nino 3.4 in region. You can see it has generally, ever since the beginning of the year in January, has kind of steadily somewhat declined in temperature-wise in that region. And especially lately in the last month or so, ever since around beginning in the middle of March through now, it's taken a lot more ups and downs with its general temperature in that region, where now we're seeing a decline yet again in that region, where it's only a positive 0.868 degrees Celsius. Now, the neutral phase starts once the region steadily and consistently stays below positive 0.5 degrees Celsius, which, as you can see, is this line right up here, and a neutral stage is anywhere between there and negative 0.5 degrees Celsius. Below that would be a La Nina stage, so we are likely to see this region go below the negative 0.5 degrees Celsius line, most likely closer towards the beginning of June and the beginning of hurricane season as we get into that time frame in the very beginning of summer. So that is basically all that I have for today for you guys. Hopefully you found this video interesting and informative, and hopefully with describing what these latest new forecasts have come out, as we are now just under 2 months away from the beginning of hurricane season, you guys know what to expect and how to prepare. Because if we're looking at most likely a more active Atlantic hurricane season, will likely have a much higher potential for land impacts in the United States and the Caribbean islands and all of that. So hopefully you guys start thinking about your hurricane plans and start having those in place, and whether or not you have to evacuate for a storm. Obviously, you won't fully think about that and have that fully in place unless a tropical cyclone is really looking like it'll landfall where you live. But hopefully you're starting to think about that and thinking of like where you could get away to avoid the worst impacts, especially if you live along the coast of the U.S., whether it is the Gulf Coast, along the coast in Florida, or anywhere along the East Coast, even up through New England. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video yet again. Hopefully you guys found it informative. Like, comment down below what you guys think will happen this hurricane season. I will have likely my own official first Atlantic hurricane season forecast for 2024 out sometime in the middle to end of May, right before the hurricane season officially starts. And I'll tell you right now, it's likely that I'll be going along these same lines with these first initial forecasts that are coming out from Colorado State University, University of Arizona, and the tropical storm risk forecast. So we are looking like it'll be a very, very active season. So yet again, please comment down below what you guys think will happen in this year's hurricane season. How active do you think it will be? Do you guys think we will get to the auxiliary list? Do you think we'll exhaust the regular named storm list? And subscribe to the channel for future updates on this as we get closer and closer to the hurricane season and once we're in the hurricane season. So please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.